What would you do if your home, the one place meant to be safe, suddenly turned into a portal for the unthinkable? In 2011, one family in Gary, Indiana, experienced horrors that defy logic: levitating children, unexplained attacks, and witnesses who left terrified. Even hardened police officers and seasoned medical professionals couldn't explain what they saw. Was it a haunting, a possession, or something even darker? Tonight, we unravel the terrifying mystery of the Demon House, a place so haunted it had to be destroyed. Welcome to Chilling Fireside Stories. Tonight, we're diving into a haunting case that has been called one of America's most convincing accounts of a demon possession. The story of the Demon House in Gary, Indiana, has left even skeptics in disbelief. A quick word of caution. The events we're about to discuss include disturbing accounts of supernatural activity, physical harm, and possession. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for sensitive viewers. Stay tuned until the end to see actual photos and images related to this eerie case. In November 2011, the Ammons family, Latoya Ammons, her 3 children, and her mother, Rosa Campbell, moved into a modest rental house on Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana. They were hopeful for a fresh start in a quiet, welcoming neighborhood. On the surface, the house seemed perfect, with nothing out of the ordinary. But soon, what started as an ordinary home would become the scene of chilling and unexplainable events that no one could have predicted. Soon after moving in, the family experienced strange disturbances. They reported hearing mysterious footsteps on the basement stairs, strange wet footprints, and the unmistakable smell of something foul wafting through the rooms. Latoya and Rosa also noticed an unusually high number of large black flies swarming the windows, no matter the season. By early December, just a few weeks after they had settled in, the family was already experiencing the most alarming and frequent incidents, leaving them feeling trapped in their own home. The frequency and intensity of the disturbances escalated. Rosa and Latoya claimed they saw shadowy figures and even felt themselves being pushed or held down by invisible forces. The children, too, began to exhibit bizarre and disturbing behavior, speaking in strange voices, their eyes rolling back, and even attempting violent actions against each other. Latoya sought answers but was met only with disbelief from neighbors and friends who couldn't comprehend the horrors the family was enduring. The strange activity quickly became more aggressive. Latoya's children began experiencing frightening physical symptoms, often appearing catatonic or speaking in deep, unnatural voices. One day, her son reportedly levitated in his sleep, a sight that both Rosa and Latoya witnessed in terror. Latoya contacted her church and sought help from local clergy, but many doubted the sincerity of the claims or were reluctant to become involved. Over time, Latoya herself began showing signs of possession. She claimed to feel weak, dizzy, and sometimes found herself blacking out during moments of distress. Rosa witnessed Latoya speaking in tongues and behaving in ways that were out of character. The local hospital staff became involved after the children displayed disturbing behavior, even in public, and began reporting the case to authorities. This added a new level of seriousness and brought professionals into the terrifying scenario. The family's suffering drew the attention of a local caseworker and police officers, who documented much of the activity. Witnesses were reportedly shocked to see one of the Ammons children thrown against a wall by an unseen force, or another child who walked backward up a wall, a feat witnessed by medical staff and documented in official reports. By this point, the house had become infamous, and the Ammons family's case was attracting serious interest. The terrifying scene witnessed by medical staff involved one of Latoya Ammons' sons during an evaluation at a local hospital. In April 2012, after escalating incidents of disturbing behavior and physical symptoms in the Ammons children, the Department of Child Services took the children in for a medical and psychological assessment. The case attracted the attention of professionals, who were initially skeptical but quickly became unnerved by what they witnessed. During this visit, one of Latoya's sons reportedly walked backward up a wall in a defiance of natural laws that left everyone in the room shocked. Among the witnesses were registered nurse Willie Lee Walker and DCS case manager Valerie Washington, who documented the incident in an official report. Washington, a seasoned caseworker, noted that she saw the child lift off the ground and walk backward up the wall, reaching above his head, before flipping and landing on his feet, an impossible feat without support. Walker corroborated this account, stating that the child's movement was unnatural and could not be medically explained. Both Washington and Walker left the hospital shaken by what they had seen, with Washington later saying that the event was like nothing she had ever encountered in her career. These first-hand testimonies from trusted professionals added credibility to the Ammons family's claims and convinced many skeptics that something truly unexplainable was happening. The experience left the staff deeply affected, leading DCS to include these strange occurrences in their formal reports, which only further fueled the case's media attention and lasting legacy. Concerned for the children's welfare, the Indiana Department of Child Services intervened. During interviews, caseworkers reported that the children showed signs of extreme fear and trauma. Additionally, one of the children reportedly tried to harm a caseworker in a bizarre, trance-like state. The police became involved, hoping to verify claims of paranormal activity, and they soon found themselves documenting unsettling experiences in their official reports. Police Chief Charles Austin and his officers initially approached the Ammons case with skepticism, seeing the family's reports of paranormal activity as likely exaggerated or misunderstood. However, after visiting the home on Carolina Street themselves, Austin and his officers reported witnessing a series of strange and unsettling events that shifted their perspectives and left them questioning the limits of logic and reason. Chief Austin and several officers noticed lights flickering erratically in the home without a clear cause. Electrical problems were ruled out, adding to the unnerving atmosphere. Officers also reported witnessing shadows moving along walls, even in rooms where no one else was present, which they found unsettling. These visual disturbances were documented in their statements as unexplainable but significant elements of the investigation. Officers noted finding a sticky, oily residue on blinds, door frames, and certain surfaces within the home. They wiped down these areas, only to find the substance reappeared shortly after, with no clear explanation for its origin. Austin himself later reported that this phenomenon disturbed him, as it appeared repeatedly even after thorough cleaning attempts. Additionally, they mentioned an overpowering, foul odor that would arise suddenly in the home, likened to rotting flesh or sulfur, a scent often associated with folklore about demonic presences. Austin reported feeling unwell and unusually anxious during his time in the house. At one point, he claimed he was physically affected by an unseen force, describing a sense of dread and physical discomfort that persisted even after he left. In his own words, Austin felt an oppressive, heavy feeling that lingered long after his departure from the house. Officers reported similar sensations and noted a change in demeanor among those present, documenting feelings of fear, disorientation, and even paranoia during their investigation. Chief Austin's experiences and statements ultimately shifted him from skeptic to reluctant believer, with the chief openly admitting his unsettling experience to local media and other officials. This rare shift in stance from a high-ranking officer gave the Ammons case an additional level of credibility and fueled public curiosity and debate about the case. The documented and signed police statements became a vital part of the official case record, adding further legitimacy to the strange occurrences in the Demon House. Medical professionals at local hospitals examined the children and found no logical explanation for their strange behavior and injuries. DCS reports described one child who was observed growling and speaking in a deep, unnatural voice. The hospital staff and caseworkers' testimonies added credibility to the story, painting a disturbing picture of an unexplained and very real horror that defied conventional understanding. With nowhere else to turn, Latoya Ammons sought help from Father Michael Maginot, a local Catholic priest known for his experience in the supernatural. Father Maginot agreed to investigate the home and soon performed a series of blessings, but the haunting persisted. Latoya continued to report disturbing encounters, leading Father Maginot to believe that an exorcism might be necessary. Over the next few months, Father Maginot performed several intense exorcism rites on Latoya, during which she reportedly convulsed, screamed, and appeared to struggle against invisible forces. The first session was conducted in English, Reverend Maginot began with prayers and blessings, invoking the power of God to expel the demons. During this session, Latoya exhibited signs of distress, such as convulsions and speaking in deep, unfamiliar voices. The session lasted several hours, with Reverend Maginot reciting prayers and commands to drive out the evil spirits. The second session followed a similar pattern. These sessions were emotionally and physically draining for both Latoya and Father Maginot, who documented each event in detail. Some exorcisms were conducted in the church, while others were performed directly inside the Ammons' home. The final exorcism was performed in Latin, as Reverend Maginot believed that using the ancient language would be more effective against the demons. This session was particularly intense, with Latoya experiencing severe convulsions and distress. Despite the challenges, Reverend Maginot persisted, and by the end of the session he believed that the demons had been expelled. Throughout the process, Father Maginot remained a calm yet firm presence, guiding Latoya through the horrifying ordeal. His accounts were backed by documentation and statements from witnesses, adding a significant level of credibility to the events. Eventually, he claimed to feel a sense of peace returning to the home, and Latoya reported a gradual decrease in paranormal activity, suggesting that the ritual may have finally expelled the demonic presence. The exorcism sessions were a pivotal part of the family's journey to rid themselves of the alleged demonic presence. Despite skepticism from some medical professionals and authorities, the Ammons family and Reverend Maginot remained convinced of the authenticity of the events. Following the exorcisms, Latoya and her family decided it was best to leave the house on Carolina Street and relocate. The house's reputation, however, only continued to grow, as people throughout Gary and beyond began calling it the Demon House. Local media picked up on the story, leading to even more intense public interest in the terrifying events that took place there. In 2014, paranormal investigator Zach Bagans purchased the Demon House, intrigued by the infamous stories associated with it. Bagans filmed a documentary detailing his experiences inside the house, claiming that even he encountered strange and disturbing activity. His crew reported feeling ill and experiencing eerie phenomena, which only fueled the house's reputation. Ultimately, Bagans chose to demolish the Demon House, believing it was too dangerous to remain standing. However, the stories and legacy of the house remain, with many believing that the land itself is cursed. The case continues to spark debate and has become one of the most well-known stories in paranormal history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of America's most chilling supernatural cases. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like and subscribe to Chilling Fireside Stories to keep up with all our deep dives into true horror. And if you want to see the images and documentation related to this case, stay tuned, they'll appear right after this. Remember, whether you believe or not, some stories defy logic. Stay curious, stay warm, and see you by the fireside in the next video.